Hi friends, welcome back to Brilliant Blue Reviews. My name is Heather, and in today's video I'm going to be giving you my review of the movie Good Fortune. Okay, so Good Fortune just came out this weekend. I saw it today, Sunday, October 19th, 2025, with my young adult children, my daughter and one of my sons, and we all really liked it. My daughter gave it 5 stars. I think she gave it 5 stars. My son said 4.8. I would also say in the 4.55 range. So we all really liked it. We thought it was a really good movie. This is kind of, again, a dramedy. It's more serious than you might think. But this one, I would say, as opposed to my previous review of Roofman, which is kind of also marketed as a comedy, but isn't at all. This one was actually very funny. It had a number of very funny moments. It had a good number of moments where I actually laughed out loud. So this one did have a lot of humor in it and was very enjoyable from a humorous comedic standpoint as well. Mainly, I would say, because of the cast and the acting. So this movie, Good Fortune, is written, directed by, and stars Aziz Ansari. The other main cast in the movie are Keanu Reeves, who plays an angel named Gabriel, and Seth Rogen, who plays a very wealthy venture capitalist guy who's living in the hills in Los Angeles and has a really nice house and a great life and everything, okay? Aziz Ansari's character, whose name is Arj, A-R-J, it's probably short for something, he is having a time of it. He's just having a very difficult time. They do purposely show you the unhoused encampments in LA, which are very evident if you've ever been to Los Angeles. If you're especially in downtown Los Angeles or the Hollywood area, there are a lot of those. The unhoused population is pretty significant in that part of Los Angeles, and they make a point of showing you that. And then the fourth main character is played by Keke Palmer, and it's a woman named Elena. So the basic gist is both Elena and Arj, who develop a romantic relationship in the film and end up as a couple. They are both struggling like a great many Americans are these days. And so they're struggling with the gig economy. They have multiple jobs. And other people that they talk to and interact with are in the same situation. They meet because they're both working at like kind of a hardware store, a big, like, it's sort of like Lowe's or Home Depot or something. They're both working at a place like that. They both also have multiple other part-time jobs, gigs that they're trying to make ends meet. They both, at different points, find themselves in a situation where they're living in a car. So they're really having a tough time of it. I won't get too much more into the story, but the basic gist of it is some things happen that give Gabriel, the angel, which is Keanu Reeves' character, the opportunity to cause Arj and Jeff to switch places. They switch lives. And there's a lot of comedy and stuff that goes with that, but also some very serious things, because what ends up happening is Seth Rogen's character of Jeff and Keanu Reeves' character, the angel Gabriel, actually both also lose their jobs and find themselves in a position of being unhoused and everything, and they even lose the car. There was a lot of really good messages in this movie. I would actually encourage you to take your teens, even though it's very sobering, because it's very based in reality. It's really kind of a bummer. And like me and my kids were all three thinking, yikes, this is the reality that we face these days. You know, if you don't have a really good job that pays you a really lot of money and you're not fairly wealthy in today's economy in the United States, you're kind of in the position that all these people in this movie are in. We were kind of stressing in the car right on the way home, even though it was also an entertaining movie and it was very funny. So the message that they kind of get, though, is it's kind of 2 parts. One is not to give up hope. Gabriel, the angel, his initial assignment as an angel is he's responsible for stopping people from texting and driving. And at the beginning of the movie, he really does legitimately save people's lives, but he doesn't really feel the impact of that because he's not recognizing how important it is that he actually does save these people's lives from texting and driving until much later in the movie when he encounters someone that he actually did save and sees how that would have affected people if he hadn't done that. And so he feels like he doesn't really have a purpose, like he's not doing enough as an angel. He feels like his assignment isn't meaningful enough. And so he's striving for something more. And in the process of doing that, he ends up making a huge mess. And his supervisor, which is a different angel named Martha, who is played by Sandra Oh, she kind of tells him, hey, Gabriel, you really messed this up. I gave you a simple, straightforward assignment, and this is what you were supposed to be focusing on. And in the course of how he messes it up, one of the things he does is he does not stop someone from getting in an accident from texting and driving, and it messes up the pathway of all the characters. So he's kind of going through kind of an existential crisis too, because he loses his position as an angel and actually has to start living as a human. So he's in the same boat as Arj has been, as Elena has been, as Jeff finds himself in, and actually a good portion of the second half of the movie is Keanu Reeves' character of Gabriel as a human now, and Seth Rogen's character of Jeff, who's gotten cast out of his own life, having to try to survive together and figure out how they're going to do this because they don't have money and they have nothing to go on. So the two messages of the movie, I would say, are really, one is that not to lose hope. And that's really kind of how they sum it up at the end. It had a positive kind of encouraging ending because they kind of take charge of their lives and kind of are like, no, I'm not going to let this stupid, dumb, corporate run gig economy destroy me, And so they all kind of like make decisions that they're going to somehow succeed beyond this and find joy in life anyway. And then the other message, it's really a really good message about empathy, because something happens with Jeff and Arj at the beginning of the movie. Jeff had an opportunity to be empathetic and compassionate to Arj and wasn't. And that kind of set him off on a, both of them, it kind of messed them up because he could have done something nice for him in a particular moment and he chose not to. He wasn't mean or cruel or anything. He just kind of didn't know all the circumstances. And so once they both start to realize what the other person and what other people are dealing with, they start to develop greater empathy. Like, all the characters in the movie start to develop a greater empathy for themselves, for each other, for other people around them, and they start to really see like the power that they have to make another person's life better by doing certain things. So it has some really good lessons. I think it actually is rated R. I know that the only reason it's rated R is probably language. Yeah, there's a lot of swearing and there's a couple little sexual innuendo comments, but there's no sexual content, there's no nudity, there's no violence at all. There is some smoking and there is some drinking shown. There is drug use shown and discussed. Lots of profanity. But other than that, there's nothing else objectionable. So, if you can get past the language, because they do swear quite a bit, there's nothing else. Like, it's not scary, it's not violent, it doesn't have graphic sex in it or anything like that. But that's why it's rated R. But we really liked it. We thought it was a really well done movie. It's a very sobering, realistic take on today's society in the United States. And so it's kind of heavy actually from that aspect, but it's very well written and very well acted. And so it still is a very entertaining movie and did have plenty of funny, laugh out loud moments that made it more entertaining. So we all really liked it. We'd all give it between 4.5 and 5 stars. So I would highly recommend Good Fortune, and it's definitely worth seeing. Thanks for taking the time to watch this movie review. If you liked it, please be sure to give me a thumbs up and make sure that you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss any of my upcoming movie reviews. Have a great day, and I'll see you next time.